With me tonight is a great man of God I highly respect and I love so much. And before I just introduce him, I want you to get on the phone, tell your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, tell them that it is happening now on Revelation TV. Very important, especially if you have some young people in your home who have gone to join the Nation of Islam, or even considering becoming Muslims, or whoever they may be, even Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists. Tell them to watch, because it's about educating one another, and it's going to be fun tonight. Because I got with me here a gentleman who converted from Islam to Christianity, and he's actually a rabbi at the moment. He's by the name Rabbi Simon Altav, and he was a Muslim, converted to Christianity. He was saved 9.5 years ago, and he believes in Yeshua. So he's a Nazarene rabbi. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Yemi, for inviting me.
God bless you.
Thank you.
What do you mean by Nazarene rabbi?
All the believers in the first century Christianity were Nazarenes. They were called Nazarenes. Paul refers to it in the book of Acts. We find that our own Messiah, our Master, he goes by the one from Nazareth. So the word Nazareth means the one. Nazareth is two words of Hebrew origin, which means the one from the branch. City of the branch, in other words. So we are the followers of the branch, the Messiah, which the Bible declares many times over. And so the believers, many times over in the Bible, were told they were followers of the way, and they were called Nazarenes.
So tell me, how did you become a believer in Yeshua?
Well, many years ago, roughly about 9.5 years ago, what happened was that I was searching for who is the true Elohim, who is the true God in this world. I was brought up a Muslim. I worshipped in Islam as a Muslim. So I always wanted to speak to Allah. So 10 years of my life, prior to my conversion, I always prayed every night that I want to speak to Allah, speak to me. And Allah never spoke to me all that 10 years. Then I became very disdained. I became very upset. And I thought that if Allah doesn't speak to me, then He does not exist. So then I became almost in unbelief for a short time period. Then afterwards I came back into belief again. Then I wanted to question is that are the things that are written in the Qur'an, are they valid? Because I knew that the source was the Bible. Now, which particular part of the Bible? Torah, the 5 books of Moses. So I wanted to go back to Moshe, Rabbeinu, and I wanted to go and see how did Moses get saved? How did Abraham get saved? That was a path that led me. I was thinking about these things, I'm going to go and do this. I'm going to find out if Islam matches the exact same thing. Is it the same? Is Allah the God of the Bible? So when I was doing all of that, it was then that I came across a Muslim convert in America through email, through the internet. And then after that, while I was pondering things and talking to him why he left Islam, it was at that point that I was in two minds that I had basically got onto something, that I was being drawn to something. So at that time, when I was questioning, what should I do? What do I do with my family? What do I do with everybody else around me? How do I tell them what is truth? At that time, what I found was that Yeshua of Nazareth, he spoke to me in an office one day, working in central London, in the city, and he said to me, come follow me. And that was the time when I retorted and I said, what about my family? He said, come follow me. And then I said to him, that was my point of my conversion. Then I said to him, what do you want me to do for you? He said to me, make a website. And that was the start of Abrahamic Faith Ministries.
Wonderful. I really thank God for your life. But some people, like some Muslims that convert to Christianity,
yes,
they face a lot of persecution.
That's right.
Especially, I met a wonderful lady by the name Esther Gulshan.
Yes.
She wrote the book, The Torn Veil.
Correct.
She was born a cripple in Pakistan.
Yes.
And then Christ walked into her room after praying for about 3 years and healed her. Yes. But after she was healed, and Christ told her, take this message to every corner of the world.
Right.
Her family rejected her, got the police to arrest her and lock her up in prison.
All this happened
so she
in Pakistan.
can change her mind.
I met her personally, and I know about the lady that you're talking about. And that is true. She went through a lot of persecution. Sadly, ladies in Islam, if they start believing in anything other than Islam, if they start believing in Yahushua of Nazareth, Jesus of Nazareth, they will face a lot of persecution. And that is primarily because of the way the culture is, the Muslim culture. Women generally are considered as I would say, a sign of respect for Muslims. If a woman goes astray in a Muslim eye, then the family has lost its respect. This is why, from where I come from, we have honor killings, which nobody wants to talk about here. So the thing is that all these things happen because of the restricted culture, because you're not allowed to debate. Women are certainly not allowed to debate with Muslim men, and men are in charge. So this is why you have this persecution circle. And also that Muslims, I don't think that every Muslim will out there be persecuting believers, but there are some who will go further than others. It all depends on your circumstances.
So these honor killings, are they sanctioned by the Quran or the Hadith, or is it a traditional thing?
A lot of it comes from culture, tradition. A tradition, like, as I was explaining, that in where I come from, it's a very Middle Eastern type culture. And what happens is that when a woman, let's say a woman is Muslim, right? Let's say she starts dating another Muslim man openly. That is considered disrespectful to the whole Muslim family. In other words, if she doesn't stop and move away from that because she's dishonored the whole family, she could be killed for that. So therefore, it could be sanctioned by the father, by the brothers, not necessarily always because of faith change. It can happen for several reasons. Pakistan, for instance, and other Muslim countries, women get killed all the time because of these reasons. But we find that if they change the faith, that's also seen as a sign of disrespect and bringing shame to the family. So therefore, then these things happen.
Wow. It's so interesting because we had a lady from America here recently.
Yes.
She originally came from Egypt, Noni Darwish. And she was talking about the fact that even like the Palestinian problem with Israel,
right.
He said a lot of these Palestinians have been living in Jordan, in other countries for so many years, over 40 years.
That's correct.
But they are not assimilated because to the Muslim countries, they have lost their land, they've disgraced the Islamic nation, they should go get the land back.
Yes.
So as a result, they can't even work after living in this country. You know, in the UK here, after say 5 years or so, and you're granted permanent leave
yes.
to remain, you can work, you can get on with life and whatsoever. But they've been there 40 years and they can't even work in some of these countries.
If you compare in Israel Palestinians today, what you'll find is Palestinians living in Palestinian regions that Israel's given over the land to the Palestinians, and those that Israel hasn't given what we call Israeli land, for instance. Basically, it's all Israeli land. But let's say you divided the land. Nations have divided it, Israelis have divided it. So you've got two portions of the land now. Those who are living in what are called today Palestinian regions are living in extreme poverty. They cannot voice anything against the people that are governing them. They're very corrupt. Now, those people who are living in Israeli region, they are very well off. I was in Israel a few years ago. I met several Palestinians, Muslims, and they told me themselves, and I asked them the question, why don't you voice a concern for what's going on? For instance, you said the first intifada has ruined our business, then the second intifada has even made it worse. Why don't you tell your superiors, your rulers, that this is basically ruining your life? They said, we can't speak.
They can't.
Status quo.
It's true, because it's a rule of the mob. It's
it's a police state. If anybody speaks against anybody in Palestinian areas, they secretly get shot. They get, for instance, they do secret courts. There is no testimonies. People just get shot and dragged in the street. So how many people are going to face that when they stand up and speak against the government?
Wow. Well, we just proceed. I know there are a lot of questions tonight, a lot of things we're going to be dealing with.
Yes.
But we need to talk about the Jesus in the Bible.
Right.
And Isa in the Quran.
Right.
But hang on. In English, they call him Jesus.
Yes.
In, like, say, some African languages, they call him Jesu or Yesu,
right.
Yeshua, you know. So, but let's just stick to the Quran and the Bible. Let
me bring the debate back to Yahushua, Jesus of the Bible, versus Isa, who Muslims call Jesus as well, and a lot of Christians do too. Now, what I want to discuss tonight is the fact that a lot of pastors out there may be meaning well, but are making several mistakes. Well-meaning Christians are taking verses from the Quran and misapplying them to the man from Nazareth, to the one who came out of Nazareth, not the one who came out of Mecca.